Hey, Clover here. Did you know that games have evolved as a way to prepare for real life scenarios? At least one such theory goes like this. But I think this theory already has some truth to it, and at least taking in this perspective reveals a lot of which would otherwise not be visible. Let me explain. Basically, a game is something played on a board that exists in real life. A fiction visible on anything real. But what board do we play life on? No, I don't mean Conway's game of life. No. I mean our lives. Because the truth is, our life is oftentimes played like a game. Yes, it is a real game, but it is like a game. I mean, let's think about it. How much does how you behave on a game say about you in real life? Take, for instance, a look at cheating. Don't you think someone who cheats at a game is more likely to also cheat on other people in their lives? I'd argue that there does exist such a relation. And the reasoning is quite simple. To understand this, we have to look at art, or rather, at what this really is. It is also a game. It might not be interactive with our hands like a video game or a board or card game. It is also not really something that changes per se, but how we perceive the art, that can change. And also, we can decide to change our perspective on it. It is our mind playing in our heads. It is literally the game of our minds. So let's now get back to what this implies. This means that any kind of art, drawing, music, any kind of artistic expression, it acts like a game. It is the preparation for real life, and it makes sense. Art oftentimes describes our deepest wishes and desires in a way no language could. Except you consider art its own language. But I do mean language here in the more usual sense, as comparison. But even language is, in a certain sense, a game. We have certain phonemes, certain rules to adhere to. Games work the same way as a language. So, in that sense, we do have many equivalents, and we have this kind of hyper realness to the games played that are real. We are real in the games. So the board on which we play the game must be more real than that. Because the games we play on which we are fictional, they do occur on a real board. Chess, it doesn't really make you feel anything directly. It's not like you feel actual pain when you're being checkmated. No, this is not how it works. Instead, you play as something fictional. It might be as abstract as it is, but it is fictional. And this means that the board on which we play a game, in with game taking any of the means we've described so far, it must be played on a board that is a level more real than that. This also means that a game occurring within a game is played on a fictional board. And the game itself, it is even more fictional than the fiction it sits in. This might be a bit hard to grasp, but this is a direct logical conclusion of what we've just established. And this, the lack of understanding for this topic or awareness for this branch of thinking, it explains many of our fallacies. Oftentimes, we take life too seriously, and games, at times people take them too little seriously, because games, they serve as a preparation for real life. Wait, so this means that chess players, the example I've brought up once or twice already, that they are better prepared for real life than people unwilling to be dedicating to a game? Well, maybe not. Because any thought we have is in a certain sense a game we play. It is a kind of fiction. It's imagination. And games, they are also imagined. Because obviously fiction and imagination are equivalent, since all fiction we have is self-created, i.e. imagined. So now you might be wondering, now games are also imaginations, but what we think is also imagination. So in this certain sense, each one of our thoughts a game. Well, yes, we play a game of arguing in favor and against or certain opinions, statements, and hypotheses. In science, we are literally playing a game. We are playing a game of who are you, universe? We are asking the universe who it is, i.e., how it works. And that is a kind of game we are playing. It is a game with real-life consequences, but every game has real-life consequences. We take lessons from it. And what got me into this branch was a teacher of mine who made the comparison of life to a game of scat. Basically, life, just like scat, is supposed to be played fairly. It's supposed to be played in a way that benefits everyone. That is, in a way that everyone gets to take something from it, something positive, and it also should be played seriously. We shouldn't just not give it a chance, no. We should give it the most chance we possibly can. We should be fully in the game, immersed and focused. This in a certain way, games should consume us so that we can consume our possibilities. Consume not in the sense that we lose them afterwards, no. In the sense that we actually take them. In a certain sense, games show how we should live. And this perspective is something that can really be life-changing. For me, it certainly was. I no longer take life as this super serious thing, because, I mean, yes, the board this game was played on, it is more real than reality anyway. It is so hard to grasp and so weird of a concept. It doesn't even really have a word. At least not one I was aware of. If there is, please teach me otherwise. But it stands, something clearly stands. It is a lot rarer to come by. Why is it so rare to come by describing the board on which reality sits? But it is not so rare to talk about the fictional world we play in. I mean, you might bring up the argument that that concepts such as metaphysics, religion, or actually maybe any kind of philosophy might be the board we play on. But we also know there are many different philosophies, and with it, many different metaphysics and religions. So, no, that makes no sense. This is a different concept. It is a kind of, as the famous YouTube channel Vsauce would put it, it is a kind of hyper object. In the video, the future of reasoning, this person, but who, by the way, I clearly recommend to watch the videos of and to subscribe to as well. This person has made a clear statement. Hyperconcepts are anything that is not like graspable, that is ubiquitous, something that is kind of everywhere, but also nowhere, at least locatively or temporally. And this kind of game I have described, this game of life, again, not the one by Conway in particular at least, that perfectly fits the description of an hyperobject. In fact, I'd argue this is the best way to illustrate what a hyperobject really is. And I think it can make you think. So, are you in for the game of thinking this through in your head? Are you willing to play this mental game? And are you willing to play the game of your life? It could be your game. Make it your game. Be fair, be benevolent, and take it a bit seriously, but not too much. And with that, thanks for watching, and see you next time.